Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I wanted to talk about two things today. I wanted to talk about the Edtech industry in Egypt because I was pleasantly surprised about how professional they are. And I wanted to talk also about routines. Now, the reason why I normally post my videos in like dual views where you can see what I'm seeing is one is I want to show you how the road looks like because it's interesting driving in the morning, and two is because I wanted you to come with me on my routine. I do have a morning routine that I do, and the morning routine that I do is ever since I started working freelance and I left like the office job, which I'm currently trying to go back into the office job again, but ever since I've been like doing freelancing, I've been trying to keep a certain routine that I do, so that one, I don't get bored, and two, I don't allow my negative thoughts to take over, because the thing about staying at home for a very long time is you end up getting a lot of negative thoughts. You start questioning a lot of your decisions. Now, for context, the decision that made me leave the office was my children. I have two children, and I wanted to concentrate on them. I wanted to concentrate on raising them because one of them is going into teenage age, which any parent who has a teenager understands completely how frustrating it can get. How you're trying to navigate a minefield of self-esteem, of peer pressure, of not being the cool parent anymore. You're no longer the cool parent. You're no longer the superhero that the 5, 6, 7-year-old cares about, and it's frustrating because you get a lot of so you're like, okay, you need to do this, and they'll be like, yeah, why? And I am my own person, and I'm my own person. And yes, they are their own person. They're going through like both hormonal and puberty, and yeah, it's fascinating. It's a learning experience all in its own, because you're just sitting down going like, the heck am I gonna do? And the heck I'm gonna do was literally leave the office job. I was like, they are more important. They require me, especially like I said, I have a teenager, so they require me. They require me to be with them. They require me to be around them, and I decided to be freelancer then, and decided to start looking for jobs that are blended, that can allow me to be both in the house and in the office. I understand the requirement for being in the office. I rather be in the office, but again, life doesn't give you everything you want, and they had you curveballs, and you need to understand which curveball do you use. So here where EdTech comes in. Here's where the EdTech industry comes in. EdTech is blended. I did not know that. Not only is that, but a lot of the companies are made up from like former teachers, former principals, so they completely empathize with the fact that you have children, and that in itself is a huge positive, because as mothers and as parents, we completely understand the parenting. What I like to call, not what I like to call, but actually what has been called as the mother punishment. And that is that as a career woman, once you become a mother, you tend to pretty much solidify your position in whatever job you're in. You're no longer going to get promoted. You're no longer going to get a lot of things. But that's not in EdTech. EdTech does not have that. EdTech has it to where, like, yeah, you're going to have all of the stuff that you should have as a career woman, and it's not your fault that you decided to have a family. It's a choice that you have done, and as long as you can commit, that's just great. And again, I was very pleasantly surprised with that. I'm like, didn't know that. And the industry itself is very, 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 very flexible, very like, because it's flexible. When they do offer stuff, and when they do offer courses, and when they do offer live session, they're having the parents in mind. They have the parents in mind, and that in itself is just, it's really nice. It's a really nice feeling. I can't put it into words because I'm gonna start tearing up if I start putting it into words. But you feel appreciated. You feel like, hey, yes, I have done this decision. I decided to have a family, and therefore I understood the consequences that came from it. And it's not, they don't treat it like consequences. They treat it more like, hey, you just did the next natural thing, or the next logical thing, or whatever it is. You did the next thing you wanted to do, and it's not your fault that you decided to do this one. You decided to go ahead and have children, or decided to be a parent. And again, it's a very lovely thing. And I will talk about specific companies later on, but there is one company that kind of stands up to this, like, to this whole thing, above a lot of other companies. And again, I completely love them. The other one is the trainers, like the training consultancies and things like that. That's another industry that, again, is but this one is skill based. So because it's skill based, and because it's all about how skillful you are as a trainer, you kind of demand it, and your presence demands that they do that. And they do these they do a lot of, like, the accommodation for you as a parent, because you're quote that good. So that is the two things I wanted to talk about. But the other thing I wanted to talk about today was actually more, but I'll talk about it later, because again, as you're about to see what the road is, we're gonna have a parking problem again. Now, the routine that I do is, I'm actually going to my daughter's school, because I have a few things I need to talk to them about. I finish most of my errands in the morning. Any major errands I need to do, I get done in the morning, and then after that, I go back. There's a club in the city that I live in that has, like, females timing, where you can just, like, swim in the swimming pool, and it's closed. So I use that time to do my exercise, and then after that we go again and we finish whatever errands and whatever work we have to do. Anyways, this is kind of like the summary. Bye bye.